Good morning and welcome to the Road to Retirement show with Limehouse Financial. My name is Cynthia DeFazio and I'm joined today by Tripp Limehouse. He is President and CEO of Limehouse Financial, LLC. Tripp, good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Cynthia. Good to see you as well.
Always a pleasure. I always look forward to our time together because the shows are always so filled with great information for people that have questions about how to retire comfortably. So I know that you've been so extremely busy. What's life been like in the office lately?
Oh gosh, office life is great. You know, after quite a 2020, we're trying to get back to normal, whatever that may be. And we're seeing people. We're very thankful that people are more open to coming in. And the thing that we're learning, as I think we've probably always known, people really want help. They want to know that they're going to be okay during retirement. So on this road to retirement journey, which is a very long one, we're excited and we're just, going about business in a safe way and, seeing people and helping them. That's what we do best.
Absolutely. Tripp, let me ask you, in your opinion, why is it that a lot of people will spend more time planning their family vacation than they do on planning their retirement years?
Oh my gosh. Well, I love how you put that. And I think that's something that everyone can relate to because there is a lot of time that goes into, hey, where are we going to go on vacation? What are we going to do? And maybe years in advance, right? Well, I think that the reason people don't do as much of that type of thinking for retirement is because sometimes it seems like it's on autopilot for them. They may not be monitoring it. Or a mistake that I see, I would call it a wrong turn on the road to retirement, is people just think that they're okay and that they have a plan when in fact the only thing they might have is just an account. And we're going to talk about that today on this show for sure.
Absolutely. And Tripp, would that be like someone going to their mailbox, perhaps grabbing out those statements and thinking that that's their retirement plan? Like, Tripp, here you go, I have a plan?
I love the way you put that because that's right. Or what the most recent thing I've heard is people are going to their mailbox, but they're not opening their statement.
Yeah.
And of course, with what happened in 2020 with the dive in the market, and then fortunately that V-shaped recovery, which was quite an anomaly. Now maybe they're opening them more, but I think people do that. Yes, they just kind of, I'm okay. And they're contributing to their retirement savings plan, whether it's a 401k or an IRA. And they say, this is my plan. And what I would encourage our viewers to think about is that actually a plan? Ask yourself that question. Just because you have those dollars, are you going to be okay? I often ask people, where do you want to go? How do you want to get there? How are you going to get there? And that really gets their wheels spinning. So hopefully we're bringing folks out of that thought process of maybe that everything is just okay and they're going to be on autopilot.
Absolutely. Well, Tripp, you have such a passion for helping others. Let's talk about how that started in case someone is just watching you for the very first time today.
Sure. Well, I'm a third generation planner. My grandfather was in the business and my father was in the business. Dad, I love you. I know you're watching. He's one of my biggest fans. I had to say hey to him as always. So I kind of actually knew what I wanted to do. I'm a helper, and what better way to help people than to just meet with them and get to know them. And I will share with you, that's probably the most important thing, is getting to know the person.
Sure.
And then helping them to cultivate that dream for retirement, and then showing them how they can accomplish that when they're going on that journey on that road to retirement. So, I've always known that I wanted to do it, and it just became a natural, especially after, for my grandfather being in the business and my father being in the business. So, I just went right into it, and it's over 2 decades now working with people just like you, helping you with your road to retirement journey.
Absolutely. And Tripp, let me ask you, how does someone know that they're ready to retire? Do you get asked that question quite often?
Wow, that is a big one.
Yeah.
So pre-virus, I would do Social Security workshops, and they were fantastic. We would do educational workshops with groups of people, and then people would come in to our office and we would go through the planning process. And that was part of the process. Is I would ask them, how do you know that you are ready? And that was a big question that they always had. They would say, I think, I've got this and I've got this, but and I've always thought, this is them speaking to me, I've always thought if I had this amount of money, I would be okay. When in fact, if it's not mapped out, if you do not have a written plan for retirement, you really could end up at a dead end or maybe take a wrong turn. And on the Road to Retirement show, that's what we like to do, is help people avoid those. Now, the speed bumps and the detours, they're going to come around, but man, if we can avoid those wrong turns and dead ends, we're doing really good.
Absolutely, Tripp. Let me ask you, is that someone's number one fear typically, that they're going to run out of money during the retirement years?
The greatest fears I think I see that are common among all people who come into the office, that probably is one of the top. I think also just the fear if they're married, the love of a lost one, that probably is right up there as well. And so, you know, that's something that we talk about. We need to plan for a long retirement for both of you. And when one of you is gone, we need to plan for that survivor as well. But I think that the people do think about, oh my gosh, could I run out of money? You know, something that's been said to me many times, am I going to have to go back to work later on? And so, of course, these are things that we're addressing. And, you know, but what we're able to do is we're able to determine that for people.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest thing. I mean, people rarely hop into their car and just say, I'm going here, and they have a destination, but they don't, you know, map it out. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. Maybe you'll end up there, but probably not. So it's the same with retirement, you know. That roadmap, that written plan for retirement, it's just key.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the components though that go into that, Tripp. What are the different pieces and parts of the retirement plan?
Oh, there certainly are a lot. Well,
Yeah.
I would say, contrary to popular belief, you know, most people would say the key to it is money, but really the key to it, one of the main components, is the person that I'm talking with. You know, if it's an individual person or a couple, we're really spending a lot of time to get to know them.
Yeah.
We want to hear about their dreams, where they want to go, what they want to accomplish, maybe their bucket list. We hear people talk about that. It's very important. So first of all, we focus on them as a human being. You know, we care about people, and that's the most important thing for us. And then from there, you know, we're looking at you know, what they have accumulated, what they've saved, what are their expenses. You know, what is their desired income? And from there, we're engaging in talking about Social Security and perhaps the best way to file for their benefits. And gosh, there's so many ways. As a matter of fact, if someone's out there and they haven't had their Social Security mapped out, I would encourage you to call right now, that 844-359-2569, because that is very important and everyone deserves to have that done for them. But so, you know, Social Security, and then we work on an income plan. So, you know, there's man at work and there's money at work. And when there's retirement, the only thing left to happen is money at work. So, you know, how do we manage that money at work from that point forward? So, you know, there's a lot of components, but it really just, it starts with the person.
Absolutely. Well, Tripp, this is the perfect time for us to open up the phone lines to the viewers at home. Can you tell them what they can expect to receive by calling in today?
Yes, folks, I would like to urge you watching right now, pick up the phone, dial 844-359-2569. What we're offering you is a complimentary retirement review. You certainly won't regret it. This is no cost, no obligation, and we're here to help you. We would like to make sure that on this road to retirement journey that you're on, or about to be on, or maybe already are on, that you're going to go the distance and that it's going to be comfortable for you. We're here to serve you, and that complimentary retirement review is very valuable for you.
Tripp, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, that phone number is on your screen. That number to call is 844-359-2569. We know you have a lot of questions about how to retire comfortably. Tripp has the answers for you. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call today, 844-359-2569. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to the Road to Retirement show with Limehouse Financial. I'm joined today by Tripp Limehouse. He's president and CEO of Limehouse Financial, LLC. Tripp, a great first segment of the show that we're having today, and obviously I can gauge that because the phone lines were going crazy when we were actually going to the commercial break. So let me talk to you a little bit about the Green Line Principle. You're very passionate about that. Let's explain to the viewing audience what that is.
Yes, well, thank you for asking, and I am passionate about it. So the Green Line Principle is our registered trademark planning strategy that we like to share with people. And the most interesting thing is when people come in and they hear about it, they are kind of taken back, and they say, gosh, I've never heard of a way to do what you're talking about. And we keep it very simple, the Green Line Principle. So the way that the Green Line Principle works, well, first of all, Cynthia, the Green Line Principle is a safe money strategy.
Okay.
And there are so many people out there that right now, that's what they're looking for, especially
Sure.
after the volatility that we have experienced in the market last year and even over time. So the way that the Green Line Principle functions is the Green Line only does one of two things. So your money that's working on the green line, it either stays the same, okay, so that's the safe part of your money. It can never go below where you start, and then it also provides wonderful upside potential. So when things are doing well in the market, a person can capture those upside gains, and when the market is doing poorly, a person will lock in what they have gained and then always maintain that and never go below that amount. So yeah, in its simplest form, the Green Line Principle is a safe money strategy, and people love it, and it's really working well for them on their road to retirement journey.
I love that. Well, Tripp, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Wanted to ask you, we've mentioned obviously this before, there's sometimes like some wrong turns, if you will, on the road to retirement. Can we talk a little bit about the wrong turns?
Yes, and everybody can relate to wrong turns. Sometimes they can't relate to wrong turns on retirement, maybe because they haven't done it yet. So let's get into a couple of those.
Okay. So I have here not having Social Security properly mapped out, and you mentioned this in the first segment. How important is it to have it mapped out?
Well, for most people, Social Security is going to be accounting for about a third or greater of their total income, sometimes as much as 50% of their income. So if you think about it, Social Security, we know that it's available at certain ages. 62 is the youngest, and then of course all the way to 70. There would never be a reason to file at past age 70. But so what happens, a wrong turn on the road to retirement is people, and they've come into my office after the fact, they've already done this, and I've seen it so many times, and the consequences, they've just said, oh, it's available, I'm going to take it. Or maybe they had that conversation around the water cooler with a coworker, and they were talking about it, and the conversation may have gone something like this: well, Social Security might not be around forever, so you might as well just take it. Well, you know, a couple of things. If you take Social Security and you're under full retirement age, which for most people is going to be 66 or 66 and a half, and you're still working, you're subject to the earnings test, which means your Social Security benefits could be greatly reduced. And that can surprise a person. They can file for benefits, and then all of a sudden they're receiving them. They're incorporating the dollars into their lifestyle, and then you know, a year goes by and they get a letter from Social Security saying, oh, you earned too much, so now we're going to reduce or eliminate that benefit, that's a big shocker.
Wow.
Another mistake with Social Security is, people not getting the most out of it. I mean, if you think about it, Social Security is one big annuity. You've been forced to pay into it, but it's your money and you want to get the most out of it. So, I mean, anytime I would ever have a Social Security workshop, I would ask people, a group of 40 or 50 people, what do you want out of Social Security? And for the most part, the answer was, I would like to get as much as I can out of it over my lifetime. And then the second part is I'd like to make sure if they were married that my spouse is going to be taken care of. So taking Social Security at the wrong time can be very detrimental on the road to retirement. It can be a wrong turn. But the good news is if someone's watching and they have filed for Social Security, they have one opportunity for a redo. And if it's been 12 months or less since you have filed, then we probably need to talk and take a look at it. So we've got some wonderful software. We'll actually put your estimated benefits in, and then we run a comprehensive report for you that narrows thousands of filing combination strategies down to the top 3 or 4, and then we're able to make a good recommendation and thus make a good decision. So mapping out Social Security is just so important. And one of the things while I'm thinking about it is, there's a lot of people out there, they come to see me every day. People have $3, $4, $5, $10 million and they come to see me. And they have never had that done for them. That to me, Cynthia, is startling. It's a clear indicator that people really aren't getting served. They're not getting helped. So, if you're out there and you're working with an advisor and they've never brought that up to you and offered to map out Social Security for you, I think that probably is a big red flag, and you should come in and see us and we should talk through it. Great time for a second opinion as well on your financial plan. But yes, that could be a definite wrong turn for folks on the road to retirement, never having that done.
Absolutely, and I'm so amazed when I hear you talk about how many different ways there are to file, because I'm sure a lot of people in the viewing audience just think that you hit one age and you turn it on and that's it. So I love to know that you can actually sit with someone and help them find the right strategy for their situation.
It's very satisfying. And, not everybody that comes into the office becomes a client. Sometimes we're not the best fit for everybody. But what everybody does receive who comes in is that Social Security roadmap. And I think that in itself is just fantastic. A service that we provide because we truly are interested in helping people.
Absolutely. And Trip, let's talk a little bit about assuming the account is a plan, because we talked about that a little bit in the first segment, if you will, but that's another mistake on the road to retirement, correct?
Oh my gosh, yes. Another wrong turn.
Yeah.
And that potentially could lead to a dead end. So folks, when you have worked so hard to accumulate, and that's what the focus is. The focus is accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. And certainly we need to continue to do that. But there comes a point where working with an income and a distribution planning expert really is needed. And that's what we are here at Limehouse Financial. We are income and distribution planning experts. So if you think about it, you accumulate over the years, and then you arrive at a point and it's time to retire and you're like, now what? For instance, I recently had a gentleman come to the office, super great guy. He called in from our radio show, the Road to Retirement radio show, and scheduled an appointment and he came in, and the gentleman had several $1 million. And what he shared with me was he heard me mention Social Security and a written retirement plan on the show. And he went to his current advisor and he said, hey, I have a question. What about Social Security? And it's kind of crazy, but his advisor just said, well, when you get to full retirement age, that's when you should take it. And there was no documenting, proof, so to speak, of how that advisor came up with that recommendation.
Yeah.
So, again, and there's so many people out there and they're paying, 1 or 1.5% fee, tens of thousands of dollars to their advisor, and the advisor is not even doing something as simple as saying, as part of your plan, here's what we need to do for Social Security. So there's just a stark difference between accumulation planning and then income and distribution planning. So for most people out there, they really do have that thought process that, I've contributed and I have this money in my account. I'm maxing out a 401k, I'm contributing to an IRA, I'm doing all the right things. And yes, you are doing the right things. However, if you don't know what's going to happen on the backside, on the journey on that road to retirement, how it's going to look, then, really, where are you? I mean, do you know where you are? I love to ask that question.
Yeah.
How are you going to get to where you want to go? What's the fuel for the vehicle?
Exactly.
And in particular, do you have a protected income plan? When we meet with people and they say, okay, here are my expenses, here's my desired income. Well, how are we getting to that desired income? We're looking at, so this is the written plan comes into play at this point in time.
Absolutely.
We're looking at the Social Security, we're mapping out required minimum distributions. I know we'll talk about those today from retirement accounts. But folks in general, I just see are lacking that plan. They've just focused on accumulation. And so there is a big difference between an account and a plan. An account is going to serve you, but for how long, we don't know.
Sure.
A plan is going to be permanent, and it's going to enable you to have a comfortable road to retirement journey. So very exciting when you think about it, and all it takes is just getting together and looking at that account and how we can turn it into a plan.
Well, Tripp, this is the perfect time for us to go ahead and reopen the phone lines. Would you like me to tell the viewers what they can expect to receive today?
Yes, please do.
To the viewers at home, the number to call is on your screen. That number is 844-359-2569. If you have questions about how to retire comfortably, Tripp can put together a complimentary retirement review for you. Let him take a look at where you currently are, and are you on the right path to retire comfortably? All you have to do today is pick up the phone and call. The number is 844-359-2569. And remember, this is completely complimentary, but you have to pick up the phone and call 844-359-2569. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
And welcome back to the Road to Retirement show with Limehouse Financial. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Tripp Limehouse. He's president and CEO of Limehouse Financial, LLC. Tripp, a great show that we're having today, and what I love about this time of the show is that we get to actually go through some viewer questions. And so as those phone lines were lighting up, people are leaving some questions for you. So in the effort to save time, I'm just going to throw a couple at you. Is that okay?
Let's do it. I love viewer questions.
Me too. So this first one is a great question. It says, Tripp, how do I know I can retire?
My goodness, how do you know if you can retire? Well, folks, it all comes down to taking a look at where you are now, where you want to go, and formulating a plan for how you're going to get there. So there's a lot to consider. We need to look at your current expenses, what kind of budget you're working with, and what dollars that you have saved. We really need to narrow it down to determine that you do have enough money accumulated so that we can create that income and distribution plan that's going to continue to carry you through the years. So we use some nice software when we're doing this, a lot of calculators, and we talk about longevity risk, how long you're going to maybe live, and we just piece it all together carefully, but we do it as matter-of-factly. So we make sure that we are not speculating, we're working with certainty.
Absolutely. And it's like I'm envisioning you putting the puzzle together, if you will, when you said piecing it all together. So it is truly like a puzzle. It
is. It really is. And it's different for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Another great question came in, Tripp. It says, I have a question. How can I turn tax-deferred money into tax-free money?
Wow, that's a big one there. So
Yeah.
tax deferred money, those are dollars that have never been taxed. And by the way, with your tax deferred dollars, you've got a partner in them, and that's the IRS. So all of those tax deferred dollars aren't yours. So what we do is we talk about things maybe like a Roth conversion. Sometimes paying taxes today at the rates we know today could potentially be the best thing to make those dollars not taxable later. So there's many strategies that we can look at, and Roth conversion is not the only one, but that's something that we work through because we need to make sure it's the right thing to do as well.
Okay, thank you, Tripp. That was an excellent response. This is a great question. I think obviously they've heard us talk about this before. It says, Tripp, can you go more into detail? What is a Social Security roadmap?
Yes, a Social Security roadmap. So I have had a lot of questions. Tripp, I've heard you talk about this Social Security roadmap. So a Social Security roadmap is it's an enhanced report. We take your Social Security estimated benefits, put them into our software, and create a customized report. And that report is going to narrow down thousands of Social Security filing strategy options. Most people don't know that there's that many.
Exactly.
And it's going to narrow it down to the top 3 or 4 that are going to be the best for them to take. So what we're doing is we're calculating the best time for someone to file for their Social Security benefits, and we're presenting that to them, and it's not speculation, and we can make a proper recommendation on when to take Social Security.
Thank you so much. Excellent response. And this is a great question, too. It says, Tripp, I was wondering, what is a personal pension plan?
Oh, gosh, a personal pension plan. Well, a personal pension plan, great question. Personal pension plan, that's one of our favorites. So many folks out there have friends that maybe have retired from the federal government or the state, and they have pensions, and they hear their friends talk about how they love that regular income that comes in like clockwork. They can always count on that check. Well, folks, I just want to share this with you. If you have accumulated wealth, and you would like to create your own personal pension plan, you can do it as well. So a personal pension plan is going to be a lifetime income plan. So it's a way that you can make sure without a doubt that you're never going to run out of that one thing that you need most on this road to retirement journey, and that is income. So personal pension plan, you can do it.
We only have a little over a minute left, Tripp, of the show, but this is a great question. I want to get it in because it's important. When is a good age to begin working with you?
Oh, gosh, I love that. Well, that age could be different for most people. Our general clientele are 59 and a half or older. That's when you're able to kind of start making changes with your retirement accounts. But you know what, folks? At any time we want to work with you, whether you're 50 or whether you're 70, we're here to serve you, and we can help you at any age. But I like people who come in maybe 3 or 4 years in advance of retiring, because that gives us a great time to put it all together for their future.
Absolutely. And Tripp, we only have about 30 seconds left of the show. Do you want to tell the viewers one more time what they can expect to receive by calling in?
Yes, folks, I would urge you to call in right now, 844-359-2569. I'm going to offer you a complimentary retirement review. It's a great time for a second opinion. I want to make sure that you know you're going to be comfortable on your road to retirement. Let's get together.
Tripp, thank you so much for another amazing show this week. I love the viewer questions. To the viewers at home, thank you for watching. The number to call is 844-359-2569. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we'll see you next week.